Parliamentary to hold Ramaposa with Scrotum. There is in no way it will fight for the total liberation of the people of Palestine. So the Palestinian question is threatened by this government of national unity because the DA it's a beneficiary of the National Party's government, and the DA has got remnants, including Freedom Front of apartheid, the people who were advocating for the genocide of African people. So it's not going to be an easy task. The progress we made on Palestine in South Africa has been reversed by this elite pact, but that doesn't mean we should not continue with the fight for the total liberation of the people of Palestine. Pala is not a dead issue. The 7th Parliament can deal with any matter. There's no way someone should say this matter was dealt with by the 6th Parliament, therefore 7th Parliament can't deal with it. If it means bringing it afresh, where we have to constitute a new panel to make investigations, we will use the previous panel's recommendations as evidence to the new panel and then come back to vote again. It is so opportunistic for DA to say it will not vote for Pala impeachment because of VBS. When we're voting in favor of Pala impeachment report, the VBS story was there. They are just using, we voted together even when there was a VBS story. It's not like now there is a new story which is going to disturb them from voting with the EFF. They are using the VBS to abandon their own earlier stance for expediency. But equally, they are using Pala to hold Ramaposa with Scrotum. Because every time he tries to move, they are going to say Pala. Every time he tries to move, Pala. That's why they say, no, won't vote with these people. But they don't have a reason why they can't vote with us. They say, no, VBS is a story that is far bigger than what Pala is, and therefore we can't vote with them. That is an excuse. We voted together with the DA on Pala even when there was VBS story. So there is no story of a VBS that can make the DA change their mind. They are just being opportunistic, but also wanting to use that issue to blackmail Ramaposa. Any matter that required 2/3 majority, even in the past, before the arrival of MK, we were 44. We are now 102. But we got Parliament to vote in favor of amendment of Section 25 to allow the expropriation of land without compensation. That resolution required 2/3, and we did not have the numbers even at that time, but we were able to get those numbers. We will do the same even with this new Parliament. Now that we are 102, it means we are not looking for serious numbers to increase and then get this matter in the right direction. The PAC is already speaking about expropriation of land without compensation right inside cabinet. So we might not be together in the progressive caucus, but there might be issues that brings us together. And therefore, from time to time, if we share common grounds on any matter, it will not say, no, because they are not in the GNU, we can't vote with them. As long as we agree that this is the way to go. We voted for land expropriation without compensation with the ANC, and we voted for Pala with the DA. It didn't mean we were in an alliance with any of the two. It was issues that were common, and we're agreeing on those matters. UDM, PAC, NCC leadership is right. They sold out, and we are extremely offended by that, because even when they were abandoning us, they never came back to us to say, count us out. That is an act of cowardice. A genuine, legitimate leader, once they change their minds, they have to come back and say, guys, don't count on us. We've eaten hot food from the other side, and therefore we're unable to continue with the agenda. When they want to come back, that discussion will take place with them at that moment. But for now, we are extremely disappointed by their actions, where they put a preference of blue lights over the lives of our people. Many of them, for sure, they realize in the next election, they are likely not to come back. So they must eat on their way out. That's why they accepted certain things. It's the same thing with Section 25. Where will you get the numbers? We'll do what we did even in the past to get the numbers on our side. The GNU will not last long. I give it a year. If it goes beyond a year, it will be 2 years, because after the ANC conference, it will collapse. Remember, the DA said we are prepared to work with the ANC of Cyril Ramaposa. So the ANC conference is going to remove Cyril Ramaposa, whether he likes it or not. It's his second term. He's not coming back. So the most likelihood, if they survive a year, after the ANC conference, they will not succeed, because like province of Gauteng, look at it. It has completely rejected the DA and went on to constitute government without the DA. And we're going to make sure that that government of Gauteng works. We're going to support it, because not to support the government of Gauteng is to support the DA. So if the Gauteng government fails, then the doomsayers are going to say, you see, if you don't work with the DA, you are going to fail. So we are not in an alliance with them. We're not voting for them for anything. We are going to vote for their budget, for whatever is required from us in order to defeat the DA and demonstrate to the national leadership that you could have done the same. You don't need the DA for you to survive with the numbers you have. As long as you put progressive proposals on the table, you can still govern without having 50+1, because no one won elections. No one said we must work together. The story that the electorate said we must work together, it's a fiction. Someone just created it. They did not vote for anyone. So if no one is voted for, it means from time to time we must consult one another and get consensus from amongst the parties that are voted into power. The ANC missed that opportunity and went into bed with murderers who are still to account for the killings of our people. When we negotiated with the ANC, we never said we would not bring Palapala. Remember, within a year, 5 years before, when we went, the condition was that the president must be removed. So we said, we are not coming with that condition. Let's deal with issues. Because we knew, after we have agreed, along the other progressive forces, the issue of the president is going to come. It doesn't have to be a deal breaker. Because if we had used it as a deal breaker, the ANC will be saying we did not negotiate with them because they came with a deal breaker and we could not budge from that level. We said, okay, let's leave that. Even land expropriation and all of that, let's leave them. Let's talk about what are the immediate interests for our people. Let's even leave positions for that matter to look at what can be discussed and agreed upon in the immediate to liberate the poor of the poorest. Still that got rejected, and then they went back to the meeting of the ANC and said EFF insulted them and all of that as a way of trying to persuade the NEC not to look at the EFF direction. So Cyril has never been a condition in exchange for ministerial positions. We never said that. We've always emphasized that the interest of our people should come first, and the rest of the other issues will deal with them. That's why we, even before the election of the president, we presented Palapala to the speaker immediately after she got elected, so that those who are voting for that president, they should know that there is this dark cloud hanging over the head of that president.